We are now connected with Touchten Game CEO Rokie Soeharyo and Indonesian Game Association Chairman Cipto Adiguno. Hello, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi, thank you
Morning,
so much
everyone.
for joining us today. Hope you're both doing well. Let's just start off with Mas Cipto. What game genre is currently popular here? And is there a trend as to like certain types of games that a particular country is more preferential towards? Or is it more of a global trend? If a particular kind of game is big, then it's likely to be big all over the world.
Right. So some of the most popular games in the world tend to be multiplayer and competitive games. Those kind of games are very popular in Indonesia. They have this kind of characteristic that when it's big, it gets bigger because then all your friends are playing the same game, right? If you want to play the other game, like nobody's playing that game, so it's very hard to be the top one. When you have reached a certain threshold and everybody's playing that game, then you win the market, so to say.
Okay. So it's more of a snowball
that kind of game
effect.
is very popular, yeah.
Yes.
That's correct.
All right. And Mas Cipto, I also want to know, as an organization aiming to accelerate the growth of the Indonesian video game industry, what have you done so far to help local game developers?
All right, so in AGI, we mainly do three big things. The one is improving the business opportunities for our members and for the game industry overall. One of the samples is that in the past few years, working with the government, we sent some delegates to international trade shows and made deals with international companies. So that's increasing business opportunities is one. And the second one is education and creating new talents. So, for example, we work together with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of ICT to create education programs to create more talents to work in the game industry. And the third one, I think this is more relevant recently, is that we have been advocating for regulations in Indonesia. So as mentioned, we're a very big game market, but a lot of the game players in Indonesia actually play games from foreign nations, without any benefit to the local government or Indonesia at all. So that's a concern from the government, and we're helping them out on how to mitigate this issue.
Right, but as we mentioned, there's such huge numbers involved here. There's great potential. The 2020 numbers are big for the national economy. So what's key, Mas Cipto, in creating a game that will succeed globally? And perhaps if a game developer integrates Indonesian culture in their game, would that help its growth in the global stage, or would it actually hinder because other people from other nations maybe aren't able to relate with them? What is your opinion?
Right, so the main key is to understand your audience. The games made for a certain country may not work for other countries. Usually, for example, integrating Indonesian culture might not work in other countries if it's not done properly. For example, if people don't understand what the culture means. But in certain ways, if you make them really cool, if you make them really modern and fit to the audience, for example, young people don't really care if you draw the batik patterns properly.
Right.
But they care if the character is cool and likable and like maybe, I don't know, drink or stay in hip cafes or stuff. So those things are important to integrate as well, not just the culture.
Right, so if you integrate the culture, then the surrounding elements must be just as strong as well, right? Yes.
That's right.
The modern culture. So from Mas Cipto, I want to move to Mas Rokie. Mas Rokie, since you have made several games which maintains Indonesian culture, so I'm curious as to what challenge you have faced so far in trying to attract players and also users.
Sorry, we weren't able to hear you yet, Mas Rokie. Maybe could you check your mic?
We're having some
By
technical
the way, we love
problems here.
Rocky's little friend there over his right shoulder. So.
All right. Hi, Rocky, can you hear us?
She's able to hear us. I don't think we're
Okay,
able to hear
but we're not able to hear you. Okay. Okay.
Okay, we'll go back to Rocky in a minute. Okay, let's go back to Cipto since we've got you online already. Aside from the content that we were talking about earlier, what other factors can determine a game's success or failure in the global market? And how important is funding when it comes to game development? There are those that probably have more funding than others. How much does this impact the actual development and obviously the success of the game once it's released?
Right. So, like I mentioned, so most of the game market currently is dominated by the big players. So it's like kind of like if you imagine startups, like you imagine e-commerce, there are only several, like maybe 3 or 5 that are winning the market. It's really hard if you make a new e-commerce, right? Because everybody uses those 5 big ones. It's kind of the same with games. If you're already in, if a lot of players are already in one game, it's hard to make them go to another game.
All right.
So this kind of market makes the games with the biggest and the most expensive budgets, most amazing graphics and stuff win the market. So it's like bet big, like go big or go home. So the kind of games that are very popular in Indonesia, the development, the creation of those games range in the not only tens of millions of dollars, but hundreds.
Wow.
Really?
So
Big money.
yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars. So, and that's just creating the game, marketing the game, selling them, pulling ads.
Right.
And after the game is out, there are updates, new characters, new
Yeah.
stories, stuff. Those are other hundreds of millions of dollars more.
Wow, this is a promising industry.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a lot of money involved.
All right. Now, can we move to Rocky? Rocky, can
I
you?
believe we have you back again. Rocky
Yes.
and
All
Frank.
right.
Thanks for having
All right,
me.
we can hear you. All right. As in my question from earlier, Rocky, I'm curious in what challenges that you have faced so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think we shouldn't underestimate Indonesian gamers' need for high quality content. This is true in all aspects of the content, from the art quality, the narrative, the gameplay, as well as the technical excellence of the product itself. These are the same things that gamers globally in the top tier markets are looking for. So I completely agree with what Cipto has said, that the key is to infuse Indonesian flavor into the game in a way that doesn't alienate the global audience. Because for us Indonesian game devs, the challenge is to break into the global market.
Rocky,
And yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
please.
Continue.
Oh yeah, I was just saying again that this notion of if you're a gamer or if you make games, why don't you do something else? Why don't you become a doctor, a lawyer, or something else? That's not true anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
The industry is growing. The notion of the starving artist is not true anymore.
Right.
If you're a parent watching this program today, I just want to say to you that if your child wants to draw for a living, wants to make games for a living,
Yeah.
this is the best time for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
They
couldn't agree
support
more.
their decision.
On my social media timeline, I'm always getting offered for coding for 6-year-olds. I guess I guess Instagram knows I have a 6-year-old at home. So before my next question, can you introduce us to your little friend there over your right shoulder? What's his or her name there?
This is my cat Lisa.
Oh,
Hi,
Actually,
Lisa.
Lisa, I got her. I met Lisa in a restaurant. She was like having a hard time
really?
getting stuck in the wall. And so actually, Lisa and my other cat Nate are both, they're both adopted from restaurants, and now they inspire us to make games about pets. Actually, my next game is about
well, which
Piper's Pet Cafe.
that actually brings us right to our next question, because with Piper's Pet Cafe, your latest game, what have you done to kind of integrate, a little bit of your own local flavor? Have you done the same thing with the same approach there, but also kind of make it appealing enough for the mainstream audience?
Yes, so for Piper's Pet Cafe is a solitaire game that is heavily story driven. So we include a lot of Indonesian flavor in the game itself. First of all, the location, big parts of the game is set in Indonesia and Bali, and also
Cool.
feature the Kintamani dog, which has been recognized globally as
Yes, of
the
course.
first Indonesian dog breed.
Right.
And these kind of things are imbued into the game through engaging narrative that Indonesians would love, but also the global audience would be able to relate.
Right.
And then the art style for the game, we chose this art style that is really, I would say, cartoon, Western cartoon art style, which is, you know, quite frankly, a lot of Indonesian artists are more loving the Japanese art style, but we realize as well that the market we're going for are Western audiences.
True.
And so we picked this art style. So again, a lot of different choices that, have to include the global audience as well as Indonesian audience that we made there.
Well, glad to find
The other thing I want to say is that our audience are mainly women audiences.
Really?
Oh,
And we want to make sure that one of the Indonesian value is equal representation and diversity. And I just wanted to say that in choosing in making your teams, you have to include a good representation
Yeah,
of
of
your
course.
team member as with the user. So yeah, that's where we have, we're really grateful to have attracted the most sought after talents in the industry. About 60% of our team members are women. About
Nice.
75% of our gamers are women. Um, and so,
wow.
yeah, I think that's also important, the diversity piece.
Nice.
Great point.
Yes, that's admirable what you're doing. So, Mas Rocky, I also want to know if we talk about the future of Indonesian game industry, what do you think about that? Can you please describe it to us? And what can you do to become part of its development? Do we have to be a gamer like you?
No, not at all. Actually, thanks for the question. I really appreciate it. To be involved in the games industry, do you need to be a gamer? It really does help. But in all departments, in all disciplines that people are into, you can get involved in the games industry as long as you have an interest in the games industry. I really encourage you to get involved in the games industry. So, like the games industry is a mishmash. It's a nice combination of many different disciplines, from art, narrative, game design, programming,
Maybe
quality
we can do a
assurance, sound,
voiceover.
everything. So, yeah.
Maybe.
So it is whatever discipline that you have, that you're interested in, you definitely can get involved in the games industry.
Nice.
By the way, I'm
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just, by the way, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm going through the my little app store here, and I found Piper's Pet Cafe. 5-star rating, by the way. There we go. So you guys make your way to and check it out, because yeah, it is fun. There's a lot of things involved in it. You can create, you can solve with the solitaire based game that's
Nice.
integrated in it, and it's about pets, so you'll love it.
Yeah.
Tanas, for sure.
Yeah,
And
of
there's a little
course.
bit of mystery.
Nice. I need to move on from my Sudoku.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a little bit more fun than Sudoku. Let me go to Mas Cipto for a second there. Mas Cipto, as we know, AGI has, or AGI has an important role in the development of the Indonesian game industry itself. So when we're talking about, government involvement when it comes to something like the gaming, do you collaborate with the government or any international partnerships that are happening?
Yeah, definitely both of them. Like I mentioned earlier, the government has been very supportive of the game industry. And for this year, for example, we will be sending delegates to trade shows. I think the plan this year is somewhere in Germany, if there is no issues with the war and stuff, and Tokyo. So we've been sending these delegates since a few years back, and every time the delegates always come back with deals, with very good numbers, more than expected. So it's been very good business overall. And then the government also helps us with creating education programs. And just earlier this year, we talked directly with a lot of ministers and the president about creating a singular strategy to unite all the different ministries and government bodies to work under one strategy to grow the game industry in the next 5 years.
Okay. When we talk about sending delegates to trade shows and there's deals being made, what sort of deals are these? Are they like collaborations between game developers, or what sort of partnerships are we looking at?
There are a lot of formats, but some of the most common ones is that Indonesian companies tend to be focused on developing, so creating the games themselves.
Right.
And they're going out there to look for investments and look for people who can do the marketing and understand the audience. Like I said, understanding the audience is very important. And sometimes we in Indonesia, we mainly understand how to create good games.
Yeah.
But reaching out to the audience, how to marketing to them, what kind of influencers should be approached. We need another party to do that. Usually, this is called a developer and publisher relationship.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mas Cipto, I also want to ask the same question to you for the future of game industry in Indonesia. What sort of ideal ecosystem for game industry that you think would be possible to be implemented here in Indonesia?
Right. So in the game industry, it's actually a very weird industry, so to say. Because we're very digital, we don't have any kind of logistics. We don't have the same kind of issues that a lot of other businesses have. So naturally, we are very global in the sense that if we create the games here, we can just with several taps of a button, we can sell it to all over the world. And the same thing here as well. Like anybody from all over the world can just push some buttons and sell games over here, right? So I think the ecosystem that is currently going on is that the games are made in the cheapest places with best talents. And it's sold all over the world, right?
Okay.
So it's very hard to compete with that. I think the kind of ecosystem that's great is that we can be self-supportive, as in we have the talents, we have the creators, and we have the markets ourselves, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that we can grow internally, we can grow inside, know what the local market likes, and then from there we can go abroad and expand our wings globally.
Yeah, I think we're just well on our way there. We just need some, a little bit of fine polishing around the edges. And I believe, like Mas Cipto said, the reach of the internet these days, we're just able to be everywhere.
That's
so I
right.
believe that definitely the industry is just going to get bigger and bigger. If you guys need to know more and you would like to check out the information for yourself, feel free to check out agi.or.id for more about Asosiasi Game Indonesia. As well, we wish all the best to Touchten Games. If you guys want to check out more about Touchten Games, I've just been on their site, touchten.com. Over there, the first thing you see are employment opportunities.
Wow,
Ms. Rokie.
okay.
I see you're looking
Absolutely.
for technical artists, senior 2D artists, interns, business
Absolutely.
analysts. So tell me a little bit about, before I let you go here, the business opportunities that you offer at Touchten.
Look, the kind of problems that we're solving here is to be market leaders in the global space, right? So the games that we're making are well positioned to be market leaders, and I really believe that these are career-defining opportunities that we're providing here, and that is the future of the games industry as well. Is Indonesian games for the world, right? So this is the kind of things that the title that we're putting out, Piper's Pet Cafe. All aspects of the game, the art, the narrative, the technical excellence, the gameplay, we fine-tune those to be of the global standard of the top-notch standard. And so that's the kind of talent that we're looking for, talents that are looking for a challenge, talents that are looking to be competitive in a global market. And again, I would say that the future of the Indonesian games industry is Indonesian games for the world.
Nice. Okay.
Mas Rocky, that's well said, and I couldn't have said it better myself. You guys don't. There's also, aside from Piper's Pet Cafe, there's other games that you guys have produced as well. Zert Chain, Warung Chain, TTS2,
Warung Chain.
Royal Garden
Nice.
Tales. Yeah, that one's definitely got an Indonesian flavor to it. But obviously, the latest one, Piper's Pet Cafe. Good luck to you and Lisa. Obviously, I don't
Thank
know where
you,
she's
Mas
gone for
Rocky.
now. Mas Rocky, thanks as well. Mas Cipto
Thank
for
you, Mas
joining us
Cipto.
and discussing a little bit deeper into the world of gaming here in
Yes.
Indonesia. Take care, guys.
Thank
Stay
you.
healthy. We'll talk to you again really soon.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great week.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.